Hey guys, today we're going to be breaking down the mix of Pressure by Hopeful.
Feeling so much better now. I thank God he pulled me out.
Hopeful is an up-and-coming indie Christian band from San Diego. Pressure was one of the singles that they released for their debut EP. I had the privilege of mixing that whole EP. All of it was produced by Gable Price, who, in addition to being a tremendous producer, is a phenomenal artist in his own right. Every single one of these songs on this project are smashes, in my opinion, and they have some of the best production tones I've ever heard from them. So let's dive in. I want to start with the drums today. I'll show you what I received. The playing was great, but the recordings themselves I struggled mightily with. The biggest issue being I don't think I received a top snare mic. So we had to use a lot of samples on this. I had to auto-align quite a bit just because the recordings were a little out of phase. I don't even think I used the crotch mic because it got too phasey with the overheads and the rooms. But we were able to make them work. With a great drummer, all things are possible. So it wasn't a huge issue at the end of the day. This is what I ended up with. Let's talk about the processing on these drums. I have a kick bus, a snare bus, a clap bus, a tom bus, and a cymbal bus. Each one of these individual elements are being sent to these buses, which are then being bused to drum buses up here, and then finally to an all drums bus. And I'll walk you through that when we get there. The kicks. We got a bit of EQ on these kicks. Bit of compression. Distressor, always great for it. Smack attack. Just killing a little bit of sustain. We got 0 and +4. And then we got a bit of clipping going on because I just wanted this thing to be super punchy. I've got a kick and snare bus, and that is doing absolutely nothing. It's just on here for tone. Next up is the snares. So we have 3 snare samples and a bottom snare. The first sample is this one. Great sample. Here's the second sample. Dead, dark, fat. And I believe this one is roomy. Super roomy, super long. So all 3 of those samples plus the bottom snare sound like this. Sounds great. This is what I've got going on the snare. A bit of EQ, notching some mids. Compression. This is the 1175 Rev B from UA. I love this thing. It's super meaty. A lot of low end in this. Then we have another Pro Q doing some more reduction, same area, and then a bit of clipping again. Again, those snares are hitting this Pultec. So it's a bit of tone. Again, we're doing absolutely nothing on this thing. Now, both my kick and snare, as well as the toms, are being sent to an attack and sustain bus individually, which is being bussed back into the drum bus. I don't do this much anymore, but it was cool when I did it. This is what the attack compressor is. I'm doing 20 dB of gain reduction. It's being limited. The thing is slammed. Sustain, it's kind of the reverse. It's just on the snare without those 2. With them. Very subtle, just a bit of punch. I didn't do anything crazy to the toms. Yeah, we got a bit of EQ. We're boosting some lows, cutting some mids, boosting some upper mids, and cutting some of that cymbal bleed up top. I just kind of use tom shells to push through low end, and I let a lot of the tom stuff come through the overheads and the room mics. So with the room mics, this is what I'm doing on the rooms. Cutting some lows, cutting some mids, boosting a little bit at 4K, and doing some dynamic EQ around 6.2K just to get rid of some harshness. Here's the drums all together. Let me walk you through my drum buses. So we have a shell bus, which is kick, snare, toms, and claps if I have any, and then a cymbal bus, which is all rooms, all overheads, hi-hat if it's given, a crotch mic, etc., etc. Now on my shell bus, I have this Pro Q3, cutting mid-range. Then I have this Culture Vulture, which is just a bit of tube saturation without it. A little brighter. a little less weight. This adds some nice foundation. Then I have this maximizer, which is doing something, but it's not doing anything on the meters, so who knows if it's actually doing anything. Sounded good though. Cymbal bus, I have JST maximizer, not doing much. And then I have Soothe, also not doing too much, just reducing some of that sharpness from the recording side of things. Now, I am doing a couple things of parallel compression, but I'm only parallel compressing the shells. So I've got this shell parallel compressor, which is going to be this germanium compressor. And it's getting slammed. Right, we're doing 5 dB compression. I love this thing on parallel compression because it adds so much weight and low end. In addition to that, I have the shells being run to this tube saturation, which is this thing. I don't really know what this plugin's doing. I just tweaked it till it sounded good without those parallels. And with them, get a lot of weight, get a lot of tone, a lot of top end. And that's, again, just the shells. Now on my main drum bus, I have this Michelangelo EQ, cutting a little bit of low mids, adding a tiny bit of top end, a tiny bit of air, and a tiny bit of low end. This is not doing much at all. Then I have this API 2500. Surprise, surprise, not doing much at all either. And this needle is barely moving. And finally, the JST maximizer, which is cutting off a little bit of peaks, doing a little bit of clipping. Nothing crazy. Let's go on to the bass guitar. I absolutely love how this bass sounds. I don't know what kind of bass it is, what the preamp chain was, anything like that, but my God, do I love it. It's so nasty. All we're doing on here, clean up a bit of low end, a bit of top end, clear out, pushing some low mids. We got Toop. Toop is doing a lot. Compression, a bit of saturation, more saturation, and bringing the gain down to level match. And then I have Soothe doing the side chain with the kick. Under the bass guitar, we have a sub bass. It's a Moog or something. Sounds amazing. Super fat. We're doing a bit of low cut and a high end cut as well to get out of the way of the real bass guitar. Toop, bit of saturation, tiny, not even any compression. And then Soothe, again, side chaining to the drums. My favorite thing about this bass is that I am actively clipping the crap out of it. 3.6 dB of clipping. This is without it. Sounds great. Whatever distortion this thing is adding, it cut so well through the mix. Now there is a couple percussion layers in here. We got a snap that comes in the bridge, and then a shaker. Looks like 2 shakers left and right, and then a grouped one, which had a verb on it, which I liked, so I just kept it. And then I added a tambourine, which is something I do very frequently, especially with bands. This tambourine comes in chorus 3 onwards. Now, we can't talk about a Gable Price production without talking about the guitars. I believe that he had Adam, who's also in his band, play on this, and these are some of the best sounding guitar stems I've ever received in my entire career. I'll walk you through what the parts are, but I did almost nothing to these guitars, just left them in as is. Cutting a bit of lows, adding a bit of top end. Here's the lead guitar, comes in at the end. Unbelievable. This is all I'm doing to it. Same with these rhythms right here. Yep. Adding a bit of low mids. The only guitar that I really touched with anything other than a bit of EQ is this intro rake guitar, and that is being compressed with an LA3A. And getting a bit of low mid and getting a bit of top end tucked out. Now you might have seen there are some sends. We have a short room on a bunch of this stuff. We have another short verb on most of these guitars. Nothing insane at all. But what I do have are two parallel sends. I have this EGT Paragerm, which is the germanium compressor in parallel. It's just adding side gain. It's just width and saturation. You can see I'm driving the crap out of the side channel. And then I have an EGT Paraheat, which is Decapitator. Just getting slammed. I mean, the drive's at 7. It's super bright. And all these do is add width and some grit to some of these guitars. This is with no parallel channels. Still great. Here's with the parallel channels. It sounds like a rock band now. This is what I have on the guitar bus. I have a tape machine. I have the Culture Vulture again. And then we got a bit of EQ going on. This tape machine is being pushed heavily. Without the bus work, still sounds good, not as punchy. There are some acoustic guitars in this mix as well. They're not super loud, but they sound amazing. Sounds like Here Comes the Sun. On all of these channels, we're doing a bit of just low mid cut with this SSL EQ, bit of compression. The LA3A getting slammed, as you do. Bit of EQ. On the acoustic bus, we have the ATR doing a bit of saturation. Then we have the Trans X Wide, an old Waves plugin doing a bit of transient trimming on these acoustics. Just knocking some of the peaks off to stop it from getting too pointy. Then that is being brought into this Chandler limiter. Just knocking the peaks off. Nothing crazy. Now we can talk about the synths. Again, though, these are some of the best sounding things I've ever been given a mix. You can see all the yellow stuff is my synths. All that's on here is trim. And then we got a bit of EQ on one of these, doing some upper mids to get it to poke through. Yeah, man, they sound amazing. You'll see that there is a Brower with send, and what this is a send to Michael Brower's with plugin that has a bit of room reverb before it, so it just kind of makes it swell around your head. Turn it up to hear it. Just a little bit of exaggerated motion. Want to keep the listener's ear occupied. Now we can talk about the vocals. Nothing crazy on these. A bit of trim, because they came in hot. Bit of EQ. Controlling the low end, some sibilance. 1176, 5 to 7 dB of compression. Sounded great. De-esser. Another compressor. This is the 33609, and it's doing just a touch, just touching the meters. We have this EQ, the 1081 EQ, doing a bit of top end, a bit of upper mids, a bit of low mid, a low cut, and a small low boost. These are like plus 1 dB, 0.5 dB, maybe 2 dB here. Not much. There are a number of really cool vocal effects in this song. This is my effect folder. I have a bajillion effects. I don't use all of them all the time, but they're here just so I don't need to make them. That specific effect is this distorted throw, and that is Effect Rack, this whole chain of just things that I threw together trying to make a big mess, into this SSL channel doing tiny bit of compression, some low end roll off. But what I'm doing on here is gating it so that it doesn't continue to ring forever. Then into lo-fi, which is doing nothing. Cool. And then trim, just a little bit of additional gain. And this is being sent to my hall reverb as well. So that sounds like this.
Feel it.
I have it going on again, going into the first chorus.
It's time to catch my breath.
I love this effect. To me, this kind of mimicked the lyric about an elephant sitting down on your chest, which is all over this song. It was on their merch, and I love that stuff. I just kind of wanted to do a bit of word painting, prosody, if you're from Berkeley, and make something that sounded like an elephant screaming, and this is it to me.
Catch my breath.
Apart from the elephant throw, I've got nothing crazy going on with effects. I've got a mono vocal verb, which is just a dark plate from Seventh Heaven. I've got a hall verb, which is just this lexicon. A chamber verb, which is Seventh Heaven again. It's a sunset chamber. The main verb is actually Valhalla Room, which is not a verb I typically reach to for vocals, but this was giving me the indie effect while maintaining clarity of the vocal and not just drowning everything in slapback delay like a lot of indie bands do. That verb sounds like this.
Feeling so much better now. Oh, I thank God he pulled me out. 'Cause when my world was caving in, I couldn't take the pressure.
Indie with clarity. There's a bunch of BGVs, some gang vocals.
Feeling so much better now.
They just sound great. Sounds like joy. There's a couple other moments we can talk about. Going into this first chorus, we have this mega bass slide. That sounds like this. Some things I did here is I cut a lot of the tails going into that. So there was a couple moments from guitars, some pickups from the acoustics that just got in the way of that bass slide. I'm pretty sure I even cut some of the drums. Yep, cut the room mics there just so it was really punchy on that bass slide.
Catch my breath. Feeling a little better.
It just opens up in a great way. Now let's talk about my mix bus. There's quite a bit on here, and it's mostly saturation. So there's this tape machine. Oxford inflator at 100, because why not? Then we have this EQ from Kive Audio, doing a bit of top end, bit of upper mids, bit of low end. Tiny bit of saturation, got the output turned down. Then we have Ozone 10, which is also not doing much at all. We got a smiley face. We have the stabilizer, this impact, dynamic EQ, and then the exciter. This is 1.6, 2.2, 1.0. Not much. It looks like a lot, but it's quite subtle. Then we have this EQ doing a bit of mid-side, adding a little bit of lows to the mids, scooping a little bit of lows from the highs. Nothing crazy. Then we have Spectre doing more saturation. Center 1 adding a little bit of width. And then I'm actually automating this Pro Q3 as the song goes. I really wanted this intro to punch. I had not done a lot of mixes for this band, and I really wanted to grab their attention immediately. So one of the ways I did that was automating the EQ on the mix bus and the volume on the mix bus.
Right out my chest.
You can see this intro is automated up 0.2 dB. The filter comes off the mix bus all the way, and then we drop back down for the verses. And then in the chorus again, it opens up. That's kind of it. This song rocks. It was a pleasure to mix. Really proud of Hopeful for what they're doing for both the Christian music community and indie music as a whole. These songs are so well produced. I love this song. I love everyone involved. This was a phenomenal EP to work on. Super grateful that I was involved in this. And yeah, one of my favorite productions I've ever mixed to this day.
Couldn't take the pressure. I feel it.